Hi guys, welcome back. What if everything you thought you knew about Caitlin Clark's impact on women's basketball was wrong? Temi Fagbenle, a veteran WNBA player, just dropped a truth bomb that's shaking up the sports world. Instead of focusing on race and privilege, she's calling out the real story behind Clark's rise. Let's break down why Temi's words are changing the conversation around the future of the WNBA. But before we dive in, we'd really appreciate a small favor. If you enjoy and value our content, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel. Over 97% of you watch without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it means a lot to us.
But Temi Fagbenle has perspective, being a player in the league and obviously a teammate of Caitlin Clark's. Here is what Temi had to say in a thread that she posted. Let me make this clear. Cece can speak about having white privilege without hating herself. Cece can acknowledge the reality of race disparities without pandering to any group. Cece can celebrate the giants who have come before her.
$3 billion, that's the amount of money women's basketball lost over the past 2 decades. Until she showed up. Now, WNBA veteran is passionately speaking out about Caitlin Clark's influence. They're going after the wrong person, Temi Fagbenle says. The real issue isn't about race or privilege, it's about who's actually holding women's basketball back. And Fagbenle isn't pulling any punches. Something huge just happened in the WNBA, and it was totally unexpected. Temi Fagbenle, a veteran who's seen it all, came out swinging in defense of Caitlin Clark. And trust me, what she said is shaking up the sports world. Let me give you some quick context.
I think most people know this. It's just a select group trying to twist things. The US's race issue is so ingrained that I believe a majority of them don't even think they're twisting anything. The immediate response to anyone talking about how race affects anything is denial. This is a great opportunity for some respectful conversations about race in the US. However, the combos will only be beneficial if there are no racist or prejudiced people.
By now, we've all seen the drama unfold around Caitlin Clark's Time magazine interview, right? In it, she talked about her white privilege and highlighted the black players who helped establish the WNBA. Some people were on board, others weren't, but no one could have predicted what happened next.
Temi Fagbenle is a fan favorite for a reason. Like, she was the de facto leader early on that season for Indiana. She played unbelievably hard. She was one of their best defenders. She was the first player to really embrace Caitlin, and for that, Temi Fagbenle will always.
Temi Fagbenle, if you're not familiar with her, let me break it down. She's been in the thick of women's basketball for years. She's played internationally, been in the WNBA, and knows what it's like to fight for recognition in the sport. So when she speaks, people listen. And what she had to say was jaw-dropping. Fagbenle started by addressing a point no one else was talking about: the real impact Clark has had on the league. But here's the kicker. Instead of joining the criticism, she took a completely different angle.
This is Temi attempting to have Caitlin Clark's back, and Caitlin Clark should not apologize for being white, should not hate herself, and being white has, in my opinion, nothing to do with her success on the basketball court.
She pointed out that for over 20 years, the WNBA had been fighting for basics like chartered flights. Players had to endure commercial flights, delays, and connections. Then, Clark shows up, and 2 weeks later, chartered flights are suddenly available. Fagbenle was like, are we seriously going to act like this isn't a win? But she didn't stop there. She started breaking down the numbers, and that's when things got even more interesting. Since Clark arrived, game attendance has surged, TV ratings are breaking records, and the WNBA draft, broadcast on ABC and ESPN, is pulling in numbers we've never seen before. Fagbenle quickly pointed out that this isn't just benefiting Clark, it's good for everyone in the league.
I believe Caitlin was simply trying to convey, one, that she respects her peers and those that came before her, which is a great message. And two, that yeah, maybe she did get a fan base activated that wasn't going to be following the WNBA before because of the curiosity factor about this white girl from Iowa.
Here's where Fagbenle's argument really packed a punch. She talked about how some people within the WNBA community were getting things twisted. They were resenting Clark for shining a light on the league, as if her success somehow took away from others. Fagbenle wasn't having any of that. She explained it this way: When someone's improving things for everyone, why would you oppose that? It's like getting mad at the person who secured a raise for the whole office. Just because they're new to the company doesn't make sense. What set Fagbenle apart was how she addressed the whole privilege issue. She pointed out that Clark didn't just acknowledge her privilege, she actively used her platform to elevate black players, calling attention to the pioneers who helped build the WNBA. And as Fagbenle said, that's something you don't see every day. She drew a parallel to other movements for change during the civil rights era. Allies weren't rejected. They were welcomed because progress needs all the support it can get. That's exactly what Fagbenle wanted people to understand. If you're going to be angry at the system that's held women's basketball back for so long. Be mad at the corporate structures that denied the WNBA proper recognition and forced these athletes to work under bad conditions for decades. Fagbenle got real about something else too. She said that some people were so focused on who's making the change that they're missing the bigger picture. The league is finally getting the things it's been asking for. Better travel, more media coverage, larger crowds. Isn't that what everyone's been fighting for? But Fagbenle's message went deeper. She talked about unity and the importance of coalition building and bringing about real change. Historically, successful equality movements haven't rejected allies, they've succeeded by bringing together people from all walks of life who share the same goals. That's exactly what Caitlin Clark is doing. Fagbenle emphasized that Clark isn't just talking about her own privilege, she's using her platform to amplify the contributions of black players who laid the foundation for the WNBA. As Fagbenle put it, that's not taking away from anyone's legacy, it's adding to it. She also raised an important point. Success in women's sports isn't a zero-sum game. Clark's rise and the attention she's drawing to the WNBA doesn't diminish the achievements of other players. But here's where Fagbenle's message really landed. She talked about the long-term effects of all this controversy. What's happening right now isn't just about Caitlin Clark or even one season. It's about the future of women's basketball as a whole. Fagbenle pointed out something no one else was really addressing: the business side of things. Before Clark, getting major sponsors to take interest in the WNBA was a struggle. Now, companies are lining up. TV networks are competing for broadcasting rights. Social media engagement is skyrocketing, and this influx of money and attention benefits everyone in the league, not just one player. Fagbenle got specific too. Do you remember how much less WNBA players used to make compared to their male counterparts? It was embarrassing. But now, with all this new attention and investment, there's talk about raising salary caps, improving benefits, and upgrading facilities. And Fagbenle's question was, are we really going to complain about who brought these changes? Then, she dropped a truth bomb that made people stop and think. Some of the same people criticizing Clark now were the ones who'd been complaining for years about how the WNBA needed more exposure. Temi Fagbenle's defense of Caitlin Clark is a game changer for the WNBA. She makes it clear, Caitlin isn't the problem, she's part of the solution. From improving travel conditions to breaking viewership records, Clark's impact is undeniable, and it benefits everyone in the league. The conversation shouldn't be about privilege, it's about progress. Clark is using her platform to elevate those who built the league and bring attention to women's basketball. The future is looking bright, and it's time to embrace change, not resist it. Thanks for watching.